10 dimensions of glory descended to the world. 9 of them were taken by Jerusalem, and 1 by the whole world. Jerusalem, the holy city. For millions of people all over the world, Jerusalem symbolizes the spiritual, religious, and political center of the world. Israel's eternal capital is a center for pilgrimage of believers from 3 religions. Every minute, different and diversified worlds meet each other in Jerusalem. People from all over the world are passing through this city, one in front of the other. The modernization of Jerusalem is today exemplified by the Light Train project. Within the near future, citizens and visitors to Jerusalem will enjoy a smooth voyage with a light and fast train, taking them throughout the city. The vision of the city is going to receive a new and exceptional contribution due to the unique design and building of this project. The koor bridge is the flagship of the Light Train project. The bridge is suspended on a pylon rising to about 180 meters. Its shape reminds one of a shofar horn. 70 cables for a total length of about 10,000 meters are bearing the bridge as tight as the cords of David's harp. The bridge of 160 meters length with a total weight of 4,200 tons will be built above Jerusalem's entrance roadways and will function as a new gate into the city. Infusion of new blood in the person of Santiago Calatrava, the Spanish engineer and a super architect, is joining the city's architects and builders on this exciting project. The unique, creative, and influential style of Calatrava is harmoniously integrating rigid engineering laws with an impressive architectural view. The koor bridge project is an engineering masterpiece that will soon turn to be one of Jerusalem's main symbols. Koor Metals Limited and Ramet Limited were chosen to assemble the bridge. The Ramet Company Limited, with 65 years of experience, has undertaken responsibility for the foundations and concrete work in this project, while Koor Metals will be responsible for the complex fabrication and erection of the steel structure. 70 years of activity places Koor Metals as the leading company in the heavy metal industry. Koor Metals has been a partner in erecting some of the country's largest and most complicated projects, such as the National Water Conduit, the power station, refining and petrochemical installations, freight trains, fuel tank farms, and more. Among Koor Metals' clients are leading companies in Israel and abroad. Koor Metals is joining forces with additional companies such as Vulcan Engineering Works Haifa, Koor Projects, Ramin Engineering Works Limited, Simat Industries, Koor Metal Labs and Cleaning Rooms, and more. This conglomerate of companies that includes first-class, highly experienced engineers, professionals, and project managers makes Koor Metals one of the few companies that is able to implement such a demanding project. A tight time schedule required Koor Metals to use additional resources from abroad. Koor Metals has chosen the Chimolai company to assist in the quality control of the design and fabrication of the bridge. Chimolai is an Italian company that has substantial experience in erecting complicated bridges and buildings, such as the Olympic Stadium in Athens, which has also been designed by Santiago Calatrava. 7 temporal supports with an inclusive weight of about 100 tons of steel were placed on top of concrete foundations that were cast into the ground. They are supposed to carry the bridge during its erecting stages, while transferring the load of the bridge to the cables. The assembly is being performed by Koor Projects, the leading company in Israel in this field. The complicated transportation of the deck parts from Vulcan Engineering Works in Haifa and of the pylon parts that arrive from abroad are being performed by Ta'avura, the only company that is able to give the right answer to such transportation issues. Both middle deck C4 and C5, each with a length of 30 meters, are being transported in 3 different sections. The different parts, upon adjustment and welding, are being entirely colored prior to their erection on the temporary supports. Lifting and placing of C5 on 2 temporary supports will be performed above the Shazar Avenue Way. The unit has a weight of 370 tons and a length of 30 meters. Lifting is being performed by a special crane, the largest of its kind in the whole Middle East, the Liebherr LTM 1800. Lifting is to be continued with C4 that is equal in size to the previous one. After adjusting one element to the other, skilled welders will weld both parts to each other. 3 parts of deck C3 are being transported from Vulcan Engineering Works Haifa to the site and assembled there on top of the temporary supports. Welding of those 3 parts is being performed at a height in a different manner from welding of the previous units. There, the welding took place on the ground. Transportation of the 2 pylon legs from Ashdod seaport to the site. Those parts were fabricated at the Cimolai plants in Italy and were transported by ship to Ashdod seaport. The weight of those parts is about 180 tons each, and they are being lifted by the huge crane, which is supported by the Israel Electric Corporation. The next part, the pylon's part number 3, is being joined to a casting part made of steel. Welding of those parts involves welding of plates that have a thickness of up to 250 millimeters. Welding is being performed by the best of skilled welders under very complicated procedures. Assembly of part number 4 of the pylon. This part was being lifted by a temporal scaffolding that is connected to the top of the part. In parallel at Yafo Street, part C6 of the bridge is being assembled in a similar manner to that of part C3. Upon completion of the assembly of the C6 parts, the C7 parts will be lifted in the same manner by hydraulic cranes that are able to lift 500 tons. Transportation of parts C1 and C2 from Ashdod seaport. C2 is being constructed from parts that are being placed on top of the temporary supports, followed by C1 that is placed on top of the bearings and the pylon's leg. After assembly, welding will be completed at bridge level. Assembly of pylon part number 5 and its welding. Assembly of pylon part number 6 is done in a similar manner. After lifting this part and its completion of its welding, 4 temporary cables will be installed. These cables will be used to hold the pylon during its assembly and are anchored to the back part of the pylon leg. These cables have to withstand tension of 300 tons per cable, using a hydraulic tramping system that is specifically designed for this purpose. Pylon number 7 is assembled and welded. 2 temporary cables with a length of about 150 meters each are being assembled to the pylon and are connecting it to axis number 72 at the northern basis. Assembly of part number 8 of the pylon that is a part of the upper knee. After this stage, 2 of the stable cables will be installed. They will be stretched to their constant place at the edge of the pylon's leg. Transporting the 3 parts of deck C8 from Ashdod seaport and their assembly on top of the temporary supports and the final bearings, their welding and painting. Assembly of pylon part number 9, welding the connection and closing the bolts between part number 8 and part number 9. Assembly of the pylon parts number 10 and number 11. After completing to assemble the pylon and painting, the assembly of the cables will start. At the beginning, 33 cables at the pylon's northern section will be assembled toward the bridge. Upon completion of the assembly of the cables at the northern end, another 33 cables will be assembled at the pylon's southern section, towards the anchor pipe and the rundown ramp at Herzl Street. Upon termination of the assembly, the cables will be adjusted and the bridge will be lowered under controlled conditions by lowering the temporal supports with the assistance of special hydraulic equipment. Further, a pedestrian walkway will be assembled, as well as glass for its pavement, and a hidden area for glass with illumination to be placed at the bottom of the bridge. The cord bridge is a singular pearl in Jerusalem's crown that is today being renewed so as to turn Jerusalem into a global meeting place, bridging the past, present, and the future with an appreciation for Jerusalem's buildings and its inhabitants.